Hey, friends, welcome back to the podcast. I am here today to talk about a subject that is not only interesting, but I need it. So if I need it, I know that somebody out there that's listening is going to need it. And so I get to introduce you to my friend Kristin, who loves talking about creating movement in your online business. And that's going to be the subject of our conversation. We may deviate just a little bit, but it's going to be centered around creating movement in your business in 2025. And so, Kristin, welcome to the podcast. Tell everybody about you.
Hi, thanks for having me, Jan. I appreciate it. Okay, about me, I am an ex 9 to 5er. I'm a wife, I'm a mama, I'm a stepmama. Most importantly, the daughter of the king, and I am a kingdom business and mindset coach to that bold Christian woman entrepreneur who wants to build a business by God's design without being a slave to social media so that she can make impact and income on this side of heaven.
Hello, you just punched a whole bunch of my buttons. Because I too believe that you can create a very profitable business without being a slave to social media. So you are a girl right after my own heart. And that may come up in conversation here today, folks. I mean, I think everybody is a little bit tired of the social media grind these days. And so that's just super interesting to me that you talk to people about creating movement in your business without using what a lot of people, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but 5, 10, for the last decade almost, people have really seen movement through social media on their business. And I would say over the last couple of years, like post COVID, I've seen a drastic decline. I'll just put it that way. Have you seen the same thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, post-COVID, everyone seemed to like flood into that online space, right? Because we were quote unquote told to be home or couldn't they were working from home, and especially women,
Yeah.
we finally were home and our little ones, our kiddos were home and we were working and we're like, hey, I kind of enjoy this. And so we had I'm just going to focus on women. I mean, it was men too and too, but we had a lot of those women and men coming into the online space and creating businesses or doing something so that they could continue to stay home.
Right.
So, I mean, there was a flood of people in the online space. And then there is, like what you were saying, a group of people who saw that, hey, what was working is no longer working. I
Mhm.
mean, these posts, the engagement, the algorithms, um, I know the algorithms change and they favor certain things. I'm sure you feel that and you know
Sure.
that too. But I've heard from other online gurus and whatnot is that the algorithm doesn't change. They just they favor what people are interested in.
Mhm.
And that's hogwash because when we post about Christian or Jesus or whatever, we know that it's getting censored, right? So even for Christian women and those of us who want to use social media, we'd love to use social media to build our business. It's just, we can't anymore nowadays because we're getting silenced, I guess, if you will, and the algorithms, the algorithm gods, right, aren't favoring that.
Right.
So, building a business without being a slave to that social media is super important because, yeah, we just don't see the reach like we used to.
Yeah.
And if you do something that they don't want you to do, your account could be shut down.
Mhm.
And that's just not how we're going to be able to build a profitable, impactful kingdom business that creates that kingdom wealth that gets to give more, bless more, and change those broken and corrupt systems.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I love that's your focus too because it is something that's important in 2025 and going forward. How can we do this? Because before there was even an internet, brick and mortar businesses were doing this and having successful businesses without social media.
That's that is a great segue. So tell us how.
Okay,
Let's
let's
just
yes.
dive right in. What do you,
So
when somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, look, I don't want to use social media anymore. I don't want to be a slave to what I term the social media hamster wheel, the content creation hustle and grind that everybody feels like they have to be in, but I need my business to thrive. What
Yeah.
do you say to that person?
Yes. So depending on what stage of business they're in, it looks a little bit differently. But first and foremost, I get them to pick and choose, which collaboration strategy they want to utilize because I'm huge and teach my clients to leverage kingdom relationships and adding value to other people's audiences to grow their email list and build their business and have a
Okay.
successful, profitable business.
Okay, so talk to me about that because that's fascinating. I've heard a lot of strategies before, but I've never heard kingdom collaborations.
Yes. So it's basically leveraging summits, virtual events, roundtables, free
Mm,
resource swaps with other kingdom-minded collaborators, or those that are complementary to what you do. So summits, virtual events, bundle events. So those are strategies that I teach my clients to leverage. So basically, if this is sounding familiar to you, it's a lot of I don't know if you've heard of summits or bundles or anything like that before. We see it a lot in the business niche arena, like
okay.
the B2B, not necessarily like the B2C, like the business
Right.
to consumers or business to clients. However, those are phenomenal. I've had clients that have been very successful doing those as well. But it's bringing together um, kingdom-minded women who have the same ideal client that you have,
Mm,
but they serve a different need. They're
yeah.
complementary to what you do. So if you think, for example, I serve Christian women in online business. Well, they're moms, right? So they have, those marriage concerns, family concerns, how to raise, children while being home and being an entrepreneur and all of those things. So
Mm.
yes, that's how we do it.
Okay, so that's fascinating to me because I am I didn't realize that it had a name, but that's honestly what I'm getting ready to launch right now. I am putting together a group of kingdom-minded businesswomen who have complementary um, businesses to do what I'm trying. Surprise, everybody! I'm. This is cat out of the bag. This is your first listen about what is getting ready to launch in 2025 for me. But I'm putting together something called the Brand Immersion Retreat. And so, business women who are needing to rebrand their business, or I think that's probably the ideal client is somebody who's got an established business that is ready to pivot in some way or refresh in some way. We're going to go together to an Airbnb that matches your brand aesthetic. I'm bringing together a brand photographer, a designer for logo and colors and typography, and a copywriter. And we are going to spend about 72 hours together, knocking all that stuff out. And at the end, 30 days later, you've got a finished website, you have a finished brand. Ta-da! So Kingdom
Amazing.
collaborations. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah, that's
great,
amazing. Wow. That's
yeah.
that's phenomenal. How many people are you bringing together? Or don't you really
It's
know yet?
well, it's probably will be that core group will need about 4 people at the retreat, but then I'm thinking we're gonna have I'm gonna need to draw from other people. So if you are a kingdom-minded photographer or designer or a copywriter, and just let me know. Hey,
Yes, I love that. Yes, and it
talk
can
because
happen. Those collaborations can happen in
yeah.
any place, like virtual, live. Oh, I love it. That's
Yeah,
going to be
that's so
good.
great. So, Kingdom collaborations is one way. And so something like I'm describing, but you talk about bundles. Let's talk about bundles for a minute because I dabbled in bundles about a year ago, but I never really dug in. And that may be a foreign term to a lot of people that are listening right now, but could be very beneficial to some of the women that I know are consumers of my podcast. So talk to them about bundles because that's fascinating.
Yes. So basically, what a bundle is you would partner with, let's just say, 20 other women who have either similar business or complementary business to what you do, and you are all throwing in a digital resource, a digital product. However, the way that I teach it and how most people you see it this way is that these resources one need to be something of high value. They need to be something that they can't your ideal client or those that opt in can't find for free anywhere on your website or anywhere. So they can't be just like one of those freebies that you would put on your website or your email footer to build your email list. It needs to be something high value, I would say $47 or more that you would normally charge for, or you could charge for, and they can't get anywhere else.
Okay.
So it gives those that are opting into this bundle event a reason to opt in, right?
Mhm.
And stay in integrity with what you're providing, especially as the host of the bundle event as well. You definitely want that. And then it's ran for, I've seen anywhere between 5 to 7 to 10 days. So most of the time, just a week. And that promotion is done during that bundle event itself.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I got a little tickle.
That's okay. That's what
And
editing's
then,
for.
yeah. So those that you bring together and collaborate with you, you have a promotion requirement of 1 or 2 emails that take place during that bundle event itself.
Oh.
Mhm.
So if you're, let me see if, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm understanding you correctly, you find 10 to 20 people who have businesses that are not competing with you because you don't want to find competing people. That doesn't make sense. But complementary people, business owners that can offer something that is very valuable that they wouldn't give away for free on their website. And then the promotion happens by those same people that are putting into the bundle, they're sending out to their email lists and to their social media. And then, dude, I'm assuming you're paying a dollar amount for this bundle if you buy it. Yeah. Oh,
Nope, well, there's actually 2 types of bundles. There's a free
okay.
bundle or a paid bundle.
Oh, okay.
I always teach free. With summits, if you host like a virtual event, sometimes there's that VIP upsell
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
you would have these resources and these valuable products from the speakers. Plus, it would give you, let's say, lifetime access to those recordings and maybe the
Mhm.
private audio podcasts and things like that. So with summits, there's that upsell. For bundles, I have my clients do a free one because why make like a collaborator pay to be a part of something when a rising tide lifts all the boats, right?
Mm.
So we don't do the paid bundles, but it's something that you can do, or you can earn a cash injection from having sponsors of the bundle event. Or those
Oh, okay.
sponsors would have their logo next to your logo, or you could have VIP spots, like 5 VIP spots where yours is the top product in the bundle event that they're going to see first. And then you, as the bundle event coordinator and host, will say that, if you grab these sponsor spots, I will send out a solo email just with your information, your resource. So you get highlighted across my entire email list.
That's
So there's,
fascinating. Okay.
yes, there's ways that you can do the into that, but it also depends on the theme and the title of your bundle event,
Sure.
whether they're complementary to what you do. Most of the time they're going to be complementary, or if they are do something similar. But that's what I love about kingdom collaborations, because we know there's no competition in the kingdom, and we each have our own unique God-given genius zone and the way that we do things
Mm.
that it's when you have that mindset, that's the first thing you do, that mindset shift of, hey, if I have someone that helps Christian women build and launch a business too, chances are they're going to have their own unique way of doing it. They don't have my by God's design framework and my unique way of doing things, right? So
Mhm.
so when you put together a collaboration event, you want to take a look at your signature offer, like how you get people results, and you can either go broad and do something that's more broad, or you can like pick out a pillar of your, I call it your B to Y framework, like pick out a pillar of what you do and go deep on it. So for example, for
Okay.
me, one of the pillars could go deep on is lead generation. So I could put together a lucrative lead summit or a lucrative leads bundle event where I'm bringing in kingdom minded women who serve um, Christian women, but each of them do different types of lead strategies. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes a ton of sense. I hope you guys are taking notes because for somebody out there, their mind is being blown right now because I think that this is a strategy that is not talked about a lot, and it should be. It
Yeah, not
absolutely should
in,
be.
yes, I'm glad that you brought that up. Not in the Christian women's space. It's just not. I don't, I mean, the one reason why I really hone this in when I have events or I talk to my clients, what sets, what I do apart is because I want to see more kingdom-minded women hosting these events because
Mhm.
those in the secular world are. I'm
Yeah,
participating in them. Sometimes they let me, sometimes they don't because I am very vocal about who I
right.
serve. I bring God into everything. And if you don't serve believers, if you're called to serve the secular world, then by all means, we're each called to serve different people, and that's is
Sure.
just as needed. But the secular world have these events going on every month. You could find something, but I want to see more amazing women like us hosting one for, those faith-filled believers that
Mm,
are looking for a solution to their problem and bring in
yeah.
collaborators that love Jesus and just have a heart for serving people.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. I love it. So next time you put together a lead generation summit, you call me because I can talk about text marketing all day long.
Oh, yay. I will be putting something together again soon. I try to host something each quarter and then a larger one during the year. So I'll let you
That's
know.
amazing. That's amazing. Okay, so you're saying that most of these that you put together or a part of are free. So
Mhm.
the payoff for the person that's putting into the pool, so to speak, whatever their offer is that their email list is going to grow, correct?
Yes. So your email list will grow. And so there's two ways to look at it. You as the host, and then your collaborators,
Hmm.
and then the attendees, those that attend or those that join attend the summit or join the bundle event. We want to make it a win-win-win for all involved, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So for the host, whether you're just getting started in the online business space and you're looking for a way to grow your email list fast to capitalize on that momentum that our business and success loves, so that you can have a profitable beta founding member program, virtual events, hosting summits, or a bundle
Mm,
are absolutely phenomenal way to get that like snowball effect and get that rolling. It also increases your authority, your
yeah.
expert status in the online space. And for those who are looking to scale or maybe already have a offer that converts, that they're already making some income, but lead generation is the strategy they need to hone in on to continue to bring new leads in without being a slave to social media, then you can implement these strategies into your marketing cycle on a quarterly, monthly, quarterly basis, however large or small you want to do that. But then, so it's great for those just getting started, great if you're looking to scale or to keep a simple um, strategy for lead gen in your marketing calendar. But then for those that participate in your event, they're growing their email list as well. And especially for summits, you're allowing them to be front stage while you're interviewing them and showcasing them and edifying them. Um, there's so many ways you can do it. You can have sponsors that you allow to take the stage and do like a 15-20 minute presentation
Mm.
inside your summit community, that makes it a win for them as well. But yes, all of those that either are speakers or bundle collaborators, they're all growing their email list, which makes it a win as well and
Oh
increasing
my
their
goodness.
authority and expert status.
Wow. Okay. So the million-dollar question is if I'm a business owner and I don't feel like I have the time or the knowledge to host one of these myself, how do I find these groups to be a part of?
Yes. So if you want to participate in them and
Yeah.
not host, and I will say, if you're thinking that you don't have the time, message me because I guarantee you probably do.
Okay.
You probably do. We can work through that because either you're spending time trying to find these people, right?
Mm,
So instead of maybe creating um content after content, you spend those 30, 60, 90 days putting the content a little bit on the side, but focusing on building your event because the payoff's just going to be huge.
Okay.
Um, but then you can search in Facebook. Well, you can come to mine. It's the Christian Women Speaking Collaboration Group.
Oh
If
my
you
gosh,
just look
that'll
for
be in the
me,
show notes.
yes, I'll send you over that link. You can come to mine. I
Awesome.
post things in there every once in a while when I see them come across my desk. But if you go on Facebook and you search for bundles or call, like hashtag call for speakers or
Hmm.
hashtag call for collaborators, and maybe type in group and then groups, it'll bring up groups that you can join that
Interesting.
post them.
Okay, I don't know if I've been living under a rock or if I just like this is blowing my mind. This is such great, useful, actionable content. This is
Yeah,
fantastic. I'm so excited.
yeah.
And I think there's some people who listen to my podcast on a regular basis that are going to be going, whoa, I need to go back and listen to this again and take notes. But
Aw,
also, like, as you're talking, specific people are coming to my mind that I'm going to send this episode to because they need it in their business. Um,
aw,
and
yeah,
so if you are a person who's listening to this and is having such a mind-opening experience like I am, and there's somebody that comes to your mind, you need to send them this episode because I think this really is going to create some of that movement that we're talking about in business in
yeah,
2025. So we've talked about kind of what it is, and we've talked about how to find some groups. I'm interested in your summit. So talk to me about summits for a minute. I know, you said you run those on a pretty regular basis.
yeah.
Tell me how you do it and how you find people to speak.
Yeah. So, so there's the two main strategies that I absolutely love are summits and bundles.
Okay.
Now, a summit or sorry, a bundle, you could put that together within 30 days and then
Okay.
have that done in lead generation and then your launch post event on the calendar. Boom. The summits, especially for your first time hosting, it's going to take 90 to 120 days.
Okay.
It does not matter to have it done strategically
Yeah.
and have your summit position strong.
Okay.
Um, and for those of you listening, I love you. Please, 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 please do not try to do this on your own. Please, please, please do not. Because
Okay.
you have the iceberg, right? The
Yeah.
iceberg, you don't know what goes on underneath it.
Pro
And
tip. Yeah.
then people try to do it on their own. They're like, hey, it doesn't work. No, it works when it's done correctly.
Okay.
So just, I'm going to say that with love.
Yeah.
And I do have a Summits with Impact program. This wasn't even anything I was going to talk about today, but Summits with Impact program and a Bundles with Impact program.
Oh,
A very reasonable investment that you actually get me creating and doing it with you to make sure that your collaboration event is positioned strong.
oh my gosh,
And
what a great
yes,
service.
so for those of you listening, I'll get all the information over to Jan, but I do have a Kingdom collaboration toolkit that is a beginner's guide to Kingdom collaborations. It's a mini course walkthrough that really kind of walks you through kind of what we were talking about. So I will give that link to Jan too, and you can grab that as well.
Amazing. That is
Yeah.
amazing.
So
So,
back to, oh, I'm sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
go ahead. So tell me
Okay, so
about your
back to
summit.
your
Yeah.
question about the summit. How do I find people? All that good stuff. Um, that's the number one mistake where people want to start is, oh, I want to host an event. How do I find the people? Well,
Yeah.
first we start with your end goal. We have to start with your goal in mind. What result do you want from your event? Most of the time, it is lead generation. However, I have had clients that just wanted that cash injection
Yeah.
that they get from a virtual event, and they're not really concerned. I mean, they know they're going to grow their email list, but that cash injection is what they're focusing on. So that's where we're
Mhm.
going to focus more on the sponsorship package and things like that, and maybe trying to get those higher end sponsors in. And
Yeah.
those that want that lead generation, we're going to focus on that lead generation. That's the main goal. But then what are you going to do post summit? I teach that using summits and collaborations as your launch runway. So after your virtual event, you need to, I tell you, but it's your choice, but you should be merging into your post-event conversion plan, which is a live 3-day challenge or a boot camp or an implementation day, depending on your business. Where are you going to bring those people once the summit is over? And
Mm,
to north, most of the time, let's say it's just a 3-day challenge. That's what I do, a 3 or 5 day challenge. I bring them into that. I take them through my framework, or I take them through something, grow without the scroll. I've done that, taking them through how you can grow your business without the scroll, without social media. And then I open doors to my program. So we have to kind of have an idea where you want to go, where you want to head, and then position your summit strong. The title, the tagline, and make sure that it's clear and it's positioned strong. So when you start to do research and try to find those speakers, it's a no-brainer for those speakers.
yeah.
And they're like, I know what I'm going to get from this. I know what it is. Like that lucrative lead summit for Christian women in online business. Boom, I know exactly what that is, and I know how I can help and how I can have my expertise be a part of that.
Right.
And
Right.
then we look for speakers. You can do that on social media in those groups.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've also, what's another strategy? Go to Amazon and you type in keywords,
What?
book authors, and you start to look at those book authors that are part of a theme or a title or whatever you want of your event, because you create your summit based on like a summit story arc.
Wow.
Um, so my one of my clients have she has the Matter framework, MTTR. I don't remember what it is anymore, but each day was mindset. I don't remember, but each day was that theme. And
Oh,
she has
okay.
her summit story arc. So she went to Amazon and started looking for authors fit around that theme, and then she would research the authors, maybe reach out to them. But a lot of times, depending on, like for you, Jam, depending on your past relationships with other people, you're just going to reach out to them and say, hey, you'd be a great fit at this event. This is what it is. You give them the link to your your speaker interest portal or the page where all the information's in, and they get to choose whether or not they want to be a guest. For me, I was like, okay, this strategy ran across my desk. I needed something, a cash injection. I needed to get my business going because I wasn't going to return back to my 9 to 5. I turned my resignation in after I had my little blessing. And the summit that I hosted, I only had to reach out to maybe send 70 emails, and I got my 30 some speakers, and it catapulted my business into, at the end of 2022, it gave me sold out one-on-one program that allowed me to turn my resignation in, stay home, and then once I had those one-on-ones done and I built out my beta founding member program, I launched my membership that I had in 2023. Now everything's higher group ticket programs, things like that, but that's where I started.
That is
So it's just a great resource to, like I said, in the beginning stages, or if you're looking to scale or bring more people in.
Oh my gosh. Kristen, this is literally blowing my mind. This I'm like, I had no idea that the conversation was going to be this meaty.
Me either. I love
It's
it.
it's so good. Okay. So, I have so many more questions. Uh
That's okay.
so if you well, let me back up one step. Somebody's listening and they're like, "Okay, how do I know if my business is ready for something like this?" Tell me, like, is it for businesses of all stages? Is it better for businesses that are just kind of starting out? Like, talk to us a little bit about that.
So collaborations in general are great for any type of business.
Okay.
Or authors. You don't have to have an online business. It's great for authors who want to build their email list, so they have a email list of their potential readers, so when they launch their book, they can kick it to the bestseller list, right?
Yeah.
So it can be used for anything and everything. I mean, really, it can. Knitters, the people that just love to knit, and you maybe teach others how to knit, anything, online business,
Okay.
authors. Um, but it doesn't matter what stage. Like I
Yeah.
said, it
Okay.
doesn't. You can use it to, the main goal is that you're using it to grow your email list and you have a cash injection in your business. Really, those are the two main goals. Um, but yeah, to grow your email list and then to keep new leads coming in so you have that momentum in your business, because we know that we need that momentum. We need lead generation, nurture, and sales. I call it the three-part customer life cycle: lead generation, nurture, and sales. And it all has to be working in your online business in
Mm,
order to have a profitable online business. We
yeah,
need to continue bringing those people in.
absolutely.
And especially with our economy and the way that everything is right now, we're kind of in a trust recession.
Mm,
I heard that terminology from Kelly Roach, a trust recession, because people are been burned when people all those influx of online people coming into the space and at post COVID that over deliver or over delivered, we wish they over delivered, over promised,
yeah,
under delivered, and people spent hundreds and thousands of dollars and
yeah,
gotten burned in the online space.
yeah.
So we need more touch points. And
Hmm.
a summit especially, a bundles is a little bit less, but a summit will increase your expert status and authority status exponentially through authority osmosis. Whether you're a no-namer like I was, attaching yourself to other people in the online space. I mean, they're inviting their email list, they're inviting their people. The people already know they can trust them. And through authority osmosis, that lands on you too. Like,
Mm,
oh, because, like, I mean, when you ask a friend, um, what's a restaurant my husband and I should go to for our
yeah,
anniversary? And they're like, oh, this one, we just went to it the other day. And you're like, oh, no brainer. That's where we're going.
yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so this might be a little bit of a harder question, but something that I think is super important. So, anybody in the business space for any length of time has heard people talk about how you need to make sure that you are attracting your ideal client. So, how do you find summits and bundle events and things like that that you know are going to be attracting your ideal client and not just filling your email list with people who are not really people that like they're not your people?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the answer to that is kind of twofold. First and foremost, like I always stress, is position your summit or your virtual event or your collaboration, what we call it, collaboration strategy strong. Don't use these fancy names and taglines that no one even understands and they have to think, right? A
Mhm.
lucrative lead generation for Christian women in the online business space. You know what it is, right? So if you are seeing something that you have to think and like, who is this for? Then chances are, um, it's probably not going to have your ideal client if it's
Mhm.
not calling it out right in that title or the tagline, or if the person hosting it doesn't look put together or doesn't look professional. I
Mhm.
will not participate in an event that I have to hop on a call with the host and talk with them for 10-15 minutes so they can get to know me or tell me about what I'm going to be presenting or
Mhm.
talking about. I don't
Mhm.
have the time. I'm a busy mom. And if you can't put something together that specifically states what you're looking for, then I know that it's probably not going to be a well organized event and I'm not going to
Mhm.
participate in it.
Okay.
So I so when you start to see them, you'll start to see how they're laid out and they will say these are what we're looking for. These are the topics, and this is who the ideal client is. You should know that by looking at it and reading it. If not, well, use your judgment, use your Holy Spirit discernment on whether or not to participate.
That's good.
Um, Two, then if you're like, for me, for example, that lucrative lead we'll talk about again, lucrative leads for entrepreneurs. Well,
Hmm.
that's more broad. Chances are, yay, my ideal client might be in there. But what I'm going to talk about, or if I'm going to participate in a bundle, what I'm going to include is going to speak specifically to my ideal client. So your freebie, your lead magnet, your digital product, your collaboration resource that you're going to throw into the bundle or into that summit or whatever you're going to talk about needs to speak to your ideal client.
Okay.
Like it needs to call that out, like kingdom, or how did I call it? Beginners, kingdom collaborations toolkit for beginners, something like that.
Right. Yeah.
I'm butchering that right now, but um, that's not, it's called something like that, but I will call it something then for Christian women in online business or for kingdom minded women in online business. So your resource needs to speak directly to your ideal client. So
Right.
there's no question on whether or not it's for them.
Yeah.
Then you're not going to have people join. You're always going to, though, have people that will join for a freebie or a free resource and then unsubscribe. It
Yeah,
just happens. They're in a different part of the customer journey and they're just not ready yet. And that's
for
okay.
sure. For sure. So in your experience with these events, what is the percentage of people, like you're going to see a big bump in your email growth and then you're probably going to see the big decline. What's the percentage of people that stay?
So my summits that I teach and host, and then those are my clients,
Hmm.
the the percent increase varies. It
Okay.
just depends on the type of speakers that they bring in. And there's three levels of speakers. Those that have, massive email lists, a chance, and then the middle and then the low. So it just really depends on the collaborative speakers. I've seen it grow from anywhere from 1.5, like 15,000% to 400% growth in
Wow.
their
Okay.
email list.
Yeah. Wow.
And then since they're positioned strongly, I have them track their unsubscribes
Yeah.
within that week time frame. Is it depend? Well, it just each summit's different. Each collaboration event's different, but they do track it. And if they have over 20% unsubscribed, which no one has ever
Hmm.
has, then that tells me that it wasn't positioned strong or there's something going on. So it's
Okay.
really less than 15%
Wow.
unsubscribes that I've seen. So on that massive growth, I mean, 15% really is nothing, and that's okay. I mean,
Wow. That's
and
fascinating.
yeah, and I've had each summit I've ran, I've on the front end, the cash injection was anywhere between 4 to 6,000, and then I've had clients their cash injection on the front end from the VIP All Access Pass has been anywhere between 2 to 10,000.
Whoa.
That's just the front end. That doesn't take into effect
Whatever you're launching
they
them into.
launched afterwards.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so just to recap, people, this is something that you need to pay attention to. You may need to go back and listen again and take some notes, especially if you're driving. I'm obviously, since I'm recording, I'm not taking notes, but you can bet I'm going to go back and take notes when I re-listen to it because this is something that I think. I could see this being a really strong strategy for a lot of people moving forward, especially those that are tired of being on that content creation. Um, Golly, I just call it the hamster wheel, but
Oh yeah, the social media hamster
yeah,
wheel, the content creation hamster wheel. Yes.
yeah, because here's the deal. And I think you alluded to this if you didn't say it right out. But if you're spending, let's just say, low end, you're spending an hour a week. I think that's super low for most people doing social media content. What if you spent an hour a week pitching into one of these kingdom collaborations or planning your own kingdom collaboration? I I would venture to say that the return on that investment of your time is going to be exponentially more if you're working on one of these kingdom collaboration events than it is from social media alone. And
Oh, yeah.
so it
Even
that
more than that. I mean, I think you just said exponentially, but I would say exponentially times 10.
yeah. That's absolutely amazing.
Mhm.
So the other thing that I heard that I want to make sure people like there's people that are really excited right now and they're going to be, oh, okay, I just need to find a bunch of these events and join them. No,
No.
because you have to know what's next.
Yeah.
You can't just
Yes.
grow your list and then have nothing to present to them at the end of that.
Yeah, yes. I mean, if you should have, like, if you grab that Kingdom Collaboration Toolkit I mentioned, it'll talk about what you need, but you need to have an idea on your offer. You
Yeah,
need to have an idea on who it is you're called to serve, and you
right,
need to know how you bridge the gap between that person that has a problem and how you help them solve that problem.
right.
What is your signature framework?
Yeah.
Do you have to have sold anything before? No, you don't have
No.
to, but you have to have an idea and we have to have a plan in place,
Yeah.
for sure. And then I don't remember what your next question was. I'll let you.
Well, there wasn't really a question. It was
Okay.
just I think knowing what's next, I think is
Mm,
important.
yeah.
Rather than going into these because this is exciting. It's a new thing for a lot of people. And shiny and new is what entrepreneurs kind of gravitate to. And
Hmm.
so going into it because it's shiny and new with no plan on the other side, I don't think is
Right.
wise. And
Yes, that's
so,
where you were headed. Yes, I agree. And definitely make sure you have a key, not necessarily a keynote talk, especially if you're going to be a part of a summit. It
mm,
can be something that's once again extracted part of your framework, kind of like what we're talking about today. The
yeah.
smart lead gen method that we're really diving into is part of my framework that we just extracted and I talk about. Or a free resource, a digital product, a collaboration digital product that will take them somewhere or give them that win. So
Mm,
yes, one, you need to know where you're going to take them, where you're going to head. Now if you're going to participate in them, you may have to participate in a few to get your email list to, let's say, 3 or 500 if you're starting
mhm.
at zero.
Right.
So really, you only want to participate in no more than two a month.
Okay,
To the
that's a good tip.
max, because you don't want to be overwhelming your email list with these tons of strategies and these tons of summits or bundles that they're
Oh,
going to go maybe look at, because we want them, one, focused on us and how we can help them, but we want to also be serving our people with how we can help them in our content and whatnot in our email list. So there's a balance.
yep, that's
You just have
amazing.
to find what works for you and what works for your ideal client.
That's amazing. I had not thought about that, but that is super important. I love that so much. So, Kristen, I don't this podcast could be double the length that it already is. So I think we
I'll
should
come back
I
sometime.
think, yeah, we may have to do a part two, actually. I think it would be fascinating to actually dive deeper into each piece of this, like do an episode just on bundles and an episode just on summits, because I think both of those could have so much traction on their own. So I might be pinging your email for that.
That's
But
fine.
I tell people if they want to work with you, they're like, oh, I could work with Kristen. She seems really cool. What does somebody come to you for when they're thinking about doing this? Are you walking them through how to do this in their own business? Like, tell me a little bit about your coaching that you offer.
Yes. So if we're just focusing specifically on these collaboration strategies,
Hmm.
you already have a online business in place, maybe that it's been generating revenue, so you have clarity on your message, your ideal client, and your offer, and
Yeah.
you're just looking to implement these strategies. Then, like I mentioned, I had the Summits with Impact program. That is you get me for 3 to 4, well, 4 months, because it's 90 to 120 days, but you also get unlimited Voxer access to me and
Oh, wow.
weekly meetings with me to
That's
make
great.
sure that your questions are answered. I mean, it's a program you basically can do it yourself, but I don't want first timers doing it themselves, because I want you to have an amazing event. And like I mentioned, it's kind of a selfish reason. I want to see more kingdom-minded women hosting these so I can participate in them.
Yeah.
But to do it correctly, so you get me. And then same thing with the bundles as well, but that's a shorter time frame. So you just pick and choose. And then
Okay.
really it's me just helping you position it strong, giving you ideas, knowing what I know and taking you through the process, and just having someone like to hang on to when you don't know what if tech happened, or all the
Mhm.
bits and pieces that fall into play. And then if you're know that you're called to the online business space and you're just getting started and you've been trying to, like I say, duct tape your business together with all those worldly strategies and tactics and freebies, and maybe you've even invested in some coaches, but you're just not where you wanted to be, whether or not all those bits and pieces like offer clarity, ideal client, whatever is not clear, you don't have a streamlined business.
Yeah.
Then I have my Business by God's Design Academy, which is my higher ticket program. It's a 12-month group coaching program that we first work on extracting who you are by God's design and to
Mhm.
create your business by God's design so that you can grow by His design using kingdom collaboration strategies.
That's
So
awesome.
you get the summits, you get all of my collaboration strategies inside that higher ticket program. So that's kind of
Amazing.
how they're separate depending on what you need.
That is fantastic. Okay, so friends, all of the things that Kristen has talked about are going to be down in the show notes. So you want to make sure to go down there and click on the links and then find all the things. And Kristen, tell us the easiest way for people to find you.
Well, via email. So
Okay.
grab a resource and get on my email. And
Okay,
then
great.
you can't, I am on social because I believe social is a tool that we have
Absolutely.
in our tool belt.
Yep. Yep.
It's not a core driver to our business. So I am on social and I do show up. So I'm on Facebook or Instagram with my
Okay.
name, Kristin
Okay.
Dronchi.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate this conversation so much. You have no idea. I know that it brought so much valuable insight to my audience today, and I'm super excited for them to just dive into this strategy and see where it leads them in momentum and movement for their business in 2025. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.